Welcome to the Race to Infinity Shapes game. Provided in this game are 1 game board, 4 game pieces, 2 12-sided dice, 24 luck cards, 80 BeGenio credit notes, 20 silver tokens, and 48 shape tokens. The object of the game is to be the first to get to the infinity hexagon by collecting BeGenio credits and moving around the board, landing on the credit, luck, and higher numbered shapes. And then you need to get to the space 60 for the starter game, or at least the space 80 for the advanced game, with at least 2 credit notes. Let's begin. Shuffle all the credit notes and luck cards and place them face down on their respective spaces on the board. Place the silver tokens and the shape tokens in the box lead for all players to see. Each player chooses a game piece and places it on 0. To start, each player rolls the 2 dice and adds their values together. The player with the highest total goes first, and play continues to the left. Before starting the game, players need to choose which game to play, depending on their age and ability. On your turn, roll the 2 dice and choose an operation from the 2 or 4 operations allowed in your game level choice to combine the dice values. Use the result of your operation to move your game piece forward. Only positive values are allowed, negative values are not allowed, and fractions are not allowed. On the circular path, each space holds between 1 and 12 shapes. Every time you land on a new space, collect a silver token. If you're playing the advanced game, collect 1 shape. If playing the starter game, collect all shaped tokens drawn on that space that you do not already have. Every time you've collected 3 silver tokens, you must immediately trade them in for 1 credit note from the credits pile. On its turn, you must only move forward except when you are on a roll again space, where you may choose or have to move backwards with your even or odd directional choice. If you have to choose to move backwards on a roll again space, you must continue to move forward on your next turn, unless you land on another roll again spot and choose to have to move backwards again. You cannot move backwards if it will take you past the 0 space. If your dice combination result number is greater than 20, you still only move 20 spaces. Examples of valid moves. A value of 0 results in you collecting a silver token and staying on the same space. If there is an action on the space you have stayed on, you must repeat the instructed action. There are some special spaces on the board. If you land, keep you on a credit space, credit notes, secret. Pick up a credit note and place it face down in front of you. If you land on a luck card space, pick up a luck card, read it out to the other players and follow the instructions. If you land on a roll again, odd, even arrow spot, roll the dice again and combine the 2 numbers using any of the operations allowed for this game. If the result is an even number, move that number of spaces in the direction of the even arrow. If the result is an odd number, move that number of spaces in the direction of the odd arrow. You are only allowed to land on the roll again spot twice during any one turn, and on the second time landing on the roll again spot, your current turn will end. If you land on another player's game piece, for the advanced game, the player that you land on must lose a turn, and for the starter game, collect an extra shape of your choice from the box lead. To enter one of the infinity paths to work towards going to win, once you have collected the required credit notes and shapes, proceed to unlock any path. For the advanced game, to unlock an infinity path, starting at space 80, 100, or 120, you need 2 things. You need your game piece, which must actually have landed on the infinity start space, to have collected 120 credits in 10 different shapes to move down the path starting at space 80, or 100 credits and 8 different shapes to move down the path starting at space 100, or 80 credits and 6 shapes to move down the path starting at space 120. For the starter game, to unlock the infinity path, the path starting at space 60, your game piece does not need to land on the infinity path's start space. You just need to go into that path and need to have collected at least 2 credit notes of any value and 8 different shapes starting at space 60. Do note, space 120 is only relevant to the advanced game. Players in the starter game should ignore this space and move from space 60 to the space pointed to by the blue arrow. Once both requirements have been met, you may, on your next turn, move down the path towards the infinity hexagon to win for the starter game. In that starter game, if you get to space 60 and do not have the requirements to go into the infinity path there, go past it and go around the circular path again. Once you are on the infinity path, you must pay credit notes if a luck card instruction tells you to do so for both versions of the game. To win, you must move the exact number of spaces after adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing your dice, depending on what operations you're allowed for the game, to actually land on the infinity hexagon. You're not allowed to move past the infinity hexagon on any turn if all possible moves will actually take you past the infinity hexagon or back out of the spaces inside the path. You must not move your game piece. The winner of the game is the first player to arrive at the infinity hexagon with the right value of credits and number of shapes. There are a few tips that could be helpful. If this all made sense to you, then you're ready to play. If not, watch the video over or refer to the rule sheet for specific parts. Have fun and let the race to infinity shapes begin.